So before this video gets started, if you are an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, or a gig worker and you want paid time off, if you want paid time off, sick leave, you want protection if you get into accidents, if you want income protection, if you want protection if you ever get deactivated, hospitalized, if you ever do get deactivated and you want your account back as well, there's a brand new company that just launched and they got $1.6 million in funding. They're doing same day cash transfers to drivers, to gig workers for, paid time off, all that stuff. If you want that, the company's called Cover. And if you use my link down below, you get 30 days for free. It does start at $7 a month. But again, if you use my link, you get 30 days for free. No commitments, no annual contracts. You can cancel and pause at any time. The company's called Cover. At least check it out. At least click my link down below and accept that gift of 30 days for free. And now let's get on to the video. Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name's Dylan. Thank you so much for coming by. Today's video, we're talking about the possibility of Uber ending. So this is actually a big reality that is taking place right now. If you guys don't know, basically the government is trying to force Uber to make all their drivers employees, which Uber said, well, we're just gonna shut down our app if you guys make us do that. And I have a secret that I think if this court case doesn't get overruled, Uber is going to actually end. And I don't think anybody else is talking about this. It's something that I've been talking with my friends and everyone's like, oh my gosh, Dylan, you're right. This is actually a huge possibility. And the government doesn't care. Have been reading articles. The government is calling Uber's bluff. Uber basically wants drivers to stay independent contractors, and the court wants to keep drivers, or wants to make drivers employees. And Uber said, well, if you do that, we're just gonna shut down. And they're gonna shut down in a week, right? They're gonna shut down in a week, right? I just announced on my YouTube channel that they're gonna shut down in a week. Lyft is also going to shut down in about 9 days, I believe, in California, right? You can't order a ride. You won't, in a week's time, you will not be able to order an Uber or Lyft, as long as this court case doesn't get overruled, which it's not going to get overruled. There's no way. There's no way. They filed an appeal, but this has been going on for a year. Every single time something comes up, the court cases in California are always like, yes, drivers deserve overtime pay. They deserve days off, paid time off. Drivers who work 80 hours a week, they should be getting overtime pay. Drivers who work 40 hours a week, they should be getting days off where they get paid to stay home. If they're sick, they should be able to stay home and not work and still get paid. These are like normal benefits that come with every single working American, except Uber drivers, except gig workers. If you're driving Uber for 40 hours a week, they should be giving you health benefits. They should be giving you at least minimum wage, and they should be paying into your car expenses. If you're driving around your car 40, 50 hours a week, the government says, Uber, you should be paying for these things. So that brings me into the secret, or whatever, that I've been talking about, why Uber actually might be shutting down for good. Because if the government, it's starting in California. It already happened in New York City, by the way. Uber has to pay their Uber doesn't really hire drivers in New York City because they have to pay their drivers like $27 an hour, I'm pretty sure. If you live in New York City, let me know the situation there, because I know it has been changing. And I know you need an electric car to even drive Uber in New York City. You can't, I'm pretty sure you can't sign up with a normal car. And I have heard you need to buy a $2,000 taxi license if you don't have an electric car in order to drive Uber there, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, that's another topic for another video. But in California, this is like the first time an entire state is saying, look, we realize that you've been cheating the system using cheap labor, Yes, Uber drivers, what they pay rates for drivers is super cheap. They make huge profit margins. Huge profit margins. I know they report in their annual quarterly earnings that they're not making money. They are, guys. They're investing in other driverless cars, and they have employees to pay. You know, the Uber CEO makes over $1 million a year. What does the average Uber driver make net? Full time, maybe $20,000 a year, I would say. So if California is doing this and it works, others, and they actually make drivers become employees, other states are going to do the same. Why? Because this is big for the government. And not only for the government, but I strongly believe that every single hardworking American should have access to healthcare benefits, should be getting those overtime pay. Who in their right mind would think, oh, it's fine, go, yeah, you signed up for Uber, yeah, you signed up for the app, you know what's coming, yeah, oh, you're a single mom with 3 kids, yeah, go out and drive Uber 80 hours a week to pay the bills, and no rest days, no lunch breaks, nothing. You guys, you don't even get a lunch break with Uber. You don't get any breaks. Usually at a normal job, you get a 15-minute break every 2 hours. That's like a lot for many companies. Like, you know, when I worked at Nike, you'd need a 15-minute break every 2 hours. Or if you don't take that break, then, you know, within 4 hours, you need to at least take a 15-minute break. So 2 hours, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. Or maybe it was 5 hours, I forget. But I think it varies state by state. But if California makes all their drivers become employees, all the other states are going to do it as well. And in my opinion, I don't think Uber can actually afford to pay their drivers out as employees. I know there's so much talk about, oh, if you become an employee, you have to work for one app, you have to, you know, work a set schedule, you're gonna have to do every single ride, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about plain and simple, I don't think Uber can afford to pay drivers an actual wage. I don't think Uber functions on that business model. Why? Because they've been screwing over drivers for years, paying them 30 cents a mile, and they take a huge cut of every single ride, and they're not going to be able to afford to pay drivers a minimum wage. And by the way, they actually have to pay car expenses too. I don't think you can have an employee use their own car and have $0 go into their car expenses. This is the secret I'm talking about, is that the reason I think Uber is shutting down, or Uber's gonna end, is because Uber can't afford to pay drivers at least minimum wage. They can't afford to pay drivers health benefits. They can't afford to pay drivers overtime pay, paid sick leave, paid time off, and their car expenses. Those are 6 things that I think Uber isn't paying them right now. These are 6 additional expenses that they need to pay every single person. Right now, all they do is pay drivers whatever, a few bucks a ride. And keep in mind, a lot of drivers make most of their money on tips, which doesn't come from Uber. Those come from the actual passengers. So what I'm trying to say is, Uber's been successful based on, in my opinion, should be illegal, but they've been successful on paying people way under minimum wage. That's why they're now getting exposed, and you know, there's new studies coming out that are suggesting that Uber's taking way more than 20%, 25%, whatever it is, more closer to 50% of the rides, and they've been underpaying drivers for years, including myself. I've gone out and done Uber and Lyft, and trust me, you're making money, but you're also putting tons of miles in your car. You have to get your car, you know, you have to maintain your car. That costs money. You have to spend money on gas. Gas isn't even a big cost. A bigger cost is depreciation on your car. Most Uber drivers are going out and putting tons of miles on their car and depreciating the biggest asset that they have. Think about that for a second. Most Uber drivers, their biggest asset is their car, and they're destroying their car. They get a loan on it for $20,000. then when their car breaks down, because they put on 200,000 miles on it, they still owe 20 grand on their car, but their car's only worth 5 grand. What are they gonna do? They're probably gonna go back to the dealership, refinance, get a new car. That 20K, by the way, adds on to their next loan. Now they have a loan for $40,000, and their brand new car is worth, or whatever car they got, or if it's a brand new car, it's probably gonna be a 50, you know, it adds up onto your new loan. Now you have a $50,000 loan on your $30,000 car. Then you go drive the heck out of that, put on another 100,000 miles on it. Now that car that you have is worth 10,000, but you still owe $48,000 on your car. You're $38,000 in negative equity on your biggest asset. And Uber's not taking the hit on that. All the drivers are taking the hit on that. And that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. If you're driving a brand new car for Uber, you are losing. You are playing their game. You're playing their game that they want you to go out and have fun and destroy your car. It's absolutely crazy. So, and not to keep in mind, you know, oil changes, getting new tires, fixing stuff under your hood, maintaining your car, wear and tear in your car. Yeah, there's a lot of expenses that Uber's going, in all those things, Uber's gonna have to pay into that, which I simply think they can't afford. So in my opinion, that's why I think Uber is going to end. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you want to if you want me to update you guys with everything that's going on. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.